Hello everyone and welcome back to another great super cool radio interview. I'm your host as always, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for tuning in. And before I start talking about my guest, just a quick reminder to like this video and make sure to subscribe and turn on that notification bell. That way you do not miss any super cool radio interviews or episodes. My guest who will be joining me momentarily really does not need any introduction. He is Phil Lewis from LA Guns. Their new album, entitled Black Diamonds, just dropped today on April 14th. In this interview, we chat about the new album, Black Diamonds, writing and recording the album, his unique art and figurine collection, and so much more. It's an honor to have him on the show, and I hope you enjoy this interview. Let's go! Before we jump into the show, I want to tell you about our merch store on Threadless. Shop a wide variety of logos with multiple colors and sizes available for each design. Your support is greatly appreciated and helps us continue to make killer content like this episode. Please visit supercoolradio.threadless.com or the link in the description to shop now. I got a great guest who really doesn't need any introduction. He is Phil Lewis from LA Guns.
Hey, how are you, Matthew? How you doing? Thanks for having me.
I'm doing fantastic. It's an honor to chat with you. Thank you so much for stopping by Super Cool Radio.
My pleasure.
So I know we got a lot to discuss, obviously, with the new album Black Diamonds, which is coming out very soon. But before we get to all of that, I've seen you have a very unique collection of art and figurines and various different items. So how did that collection get started?
Well, I'm a hoarder. I like going to random places. I like going to swap meets and I like going to car sales and yard sales, and I like things to find me as opposed to me finding things. The things that I have very much have their own energy and very much sort of jumped out at me. And yeah, it's true. My house does look a bit like cross between a music and an antique shop, but that's the way I like it.
Oh, definitely. I've seen some of your collection before. It looks you had a very, very nice assortment of very different, very unique items and stuff. So, are there any items that that you've been looking for that you have not found yet?
No, not really. And as I said, Matthew, the stuff finds me. I don't sit there and go, oh, I need an 18th century clock, because I've got an 18th century clock that I wasn't looking for, but it was like, fuck, that's a cool 18th century looking clock. I'm going to buy that. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and that's a big part of the adventure too. I'm by no means a watchmaker or anything, but I can tinker around a bit, and in fact, I've got a fair amount of things going, and it's just I get a kick out of doing that.
Oh, definitely. As I said, you got a really cool collection, and an 18th century clock. That's pretty badass. Like I like those huge, the grandfather clocks. Like I love the design and all of that. I don't have one, but I'm definitely when I get an actual house, I would love to have one.
I think everyone should have a real old analog clock, and preferably one that chimes. Because, if the grid ever does go down, and at some point it will, I don't know for how long, but and there's nothing, and you can't tell, and we've become so reliant on digital everything. I like having something ticking away. And the fact that it ticks, it's like it's alive. It's like it's the person that made it. It's I don't know, it's like a heartbeat of the person that made it, in a way. I mean, I'm not sitting there looking at it. There aren't ghosts popping out or anything, but I do, you know, I do have an affinity with history. There are just, I mean, history is just incredible. There are just so many interesting decades and centuries, and I just fascinated by it. I'm way more into the past than I am the future, I think.
No, I totally got you. Like I love collecting like very random things. I have a miniature suit of armor in my room. Like, you know, it's like it's only like a foot tall. It's not like a huge piece, but it looks so cool, and it shows like just different aspects of many different cultures from history.
I think for somebody that is like, what the fuck are they talking about? Start buying some old vinyl records, you know. And I did. I got back into it, and before I knew it, I have a really good collection, and that was fun. Getting the music and the whole ritual of putting it on, but not just that, like going to the record shops on a Saturday afternoon and meeting other enthusiasts, and it keeps life interesting.
Oh, for sure, it definitely does. And I know, you know, I could talk about like all, you know, random items that I have in the history and all that stuff, but I do want to talk about a very big thing I do want to discuss is LA Guns is releasing a new album entitled Black Diamonds on April 14th.
Yeah,
exactly. So for you, how was it writing and recording this album? I've heard Tracy Guns say he is very excited to release this album.
Oh, well, he's very excited to release any album. This album was great fun to make. It was a lot of fun. We made one before it, and that was called Checkered Past, and that was recorded during the pandemic. And at no point during the recording of it were we ever in a room together. It's the strangest thing. It was all entirely remotely recorded, and that. For me, was a bit bloodless. It was a bit dry. So to get back post pandemic with the band, writing, touring, recording, it felt so good, and we were having so much fun. We were recording tracks from Black Diamonds last summer during the Sonic Slam tour with Tom Kiefer and Faster Pussycat. We might have a day off or a few hours to kill, and we just bust out the laptop and the interface, and you can do that now. And it was sounding great. And I was just sitting there. I was sitting on the bus while I think Johnny was putting down the bass to one of the songs, and just wow, just to be in the presence of these guys during this very profound moment. It was really, I really appreciated it in hindsight, after having to sit at home by myself and record a record and not actually talk to anyone.
Oh yeah, definitely. I know that era of the world was very difficult to obviously to get things done, and but I'm glad for this album that you guys had a more natural process. You guys got to hang out.
Fantastic. Yeah, it was effortless, to be honest. You know, it's true. You know, it was dull and it was weird, but you know, recording Checkered Past actually gave us something to do. I think I would have been excruciatingly bored out of my mind had we not had that. So it's not all bad.
Oh, no, there's definitely there's silver linings and bright sides to you know, everything. Everyone,
almost.
Yeah, to everything everyone does. But I'm glad for this album that you guys had a much more you know, you got to hang out and see the band. So how was, so you were talking about, so you guys would just record just on the road, like while you were touring?
Yeah, you know, we knew there was stuff to be done. The drums are already done, so that's already we've got that's all tracked. So it's just a question of us putting on bass guitars. Tracy did a couple of solos. Ace did a lot of rhythm stuff. It saved a lot of time, so we didn't have to wait to get back to LA and finish it and all go in the studio. It was great being able to do it on the fly like that. Yeah, it was just it was a lot of fun. It was a lot more fun than the one before it. Yeah, there are songs like a Drug is like early LA Guns. But you know, the thing about this record, you probably agree, is that no two tracks are the same. No songs are alike. We plan it that way. That's the way we like it. It keeps it interesting for us. I think our followers. Our big problem is, of course, trying to figure out how to put new stuff in our live set, because you know we've got these 4 amazing reunion records that we love and we're excited about, but we also have a catalog going back some 35 years that people expect and would be upset if we didn't play Ballad of Jane or Electric Gypsy just because we want to play a new one. So it's a bit of a tightrope.
It definitely is, especially for having, you know, such a huge legacy that LA Guns has to try to, you know, include the newer material that you guys are working on, along with all the classic hits that you guys have, you know, dating back many years as well. So it does seem like a little bit of a fine line to do that. But how has that been going to include the new music with the set? Well,
I mean, the first thing to do is to pick what songs we're going to do, and that's so difficult, you know. That is just like, because does that mean if you pick one of those songs, the other songs are just going to get shelved? And you know, do you pick the first 3 and those are the 3 you stick with? I hope not. We've picked 3, and I think that they're 3 good choices, but I hope that's not it. I hope that that we can maybe replace one of those 3 every now and then. We picked You Betray, the opening song, because that's just kind of like how we envisage the set opening. With that, we're going to do the big ballad, Diamonds. I wasn't sure, to be honest, if we might be doing it too soon, because it's a long song and people don't know it, but consensus is they want to try it, they want to do it, so I don't mind, I can do it. And then the other one is the Wrong About You. I think the boys are wrong about you. So there's, you know, there's a big screamy metal song, there's a big luscious ballad, and kind of a snotty punky LA Guns. Those are the 3 that we picked to somehow incorporate in the live set. That's now the next problem is exactly where to place them. We haven't got to that part yet. We do know that we're going to open with You Betray, but we really don't know anything after that.
No, it's definitely, you guys got a lot of great material to fit into a show and into a set itself. So I know you guys got a lot of decisions to make with that, but I know you guys will definitely work it out and you guys will deliver the best show possible to the live crowd.
That's right. That's what we do.
Exactly. So for you, do you have a favorite song to perform live?
Not specifically a favorite song. There are songs that I really like doing, and songs that we do once in a while, that every now and then we'll pull out Killing Machine, and that's not a song I would like to do every night, but boy, it's fun when we do, because it's a burner, you know. I get like my chest is burning after it, because it's so fucking intense. But you know, much as we moan and roll our eyes, I gotta say, I to this day I still really love doing Ballad of Jane, and just the reaction it gets, and how happy it makes people. Actually, it's the funniest thing. Statistically, there are more punch-ups, more fights, more fisticuffs during that song than any other song that we do. For some reason, it gets people riled up, emotionally happy, and clearly quite angry for some reason. But yeah, we've noticed that you know, of all the songs that we do, and we got some like real heavy, like Killing Machine type songs, and you could imagine like a mosh pit or someone, you know, getting an elbow in the face and it starting something. But no, our sweetest, softest, gentlest ballad. Next thing you know, there's a brouhaha right 10 feet in front of us.
That's crazy. I never would have expected, like, if someone would have given me 100 guesses at like what song people would fight to by LA Guns, I never would have picked that one.
It's always without a doubt, it's always Ballad of Jane.
I mean, it's a very emotionally charged song, but I don't equivalent like violence to that.
You know, I don't know, but some, you know, I think it's just the people like up front jockeying to get in front, close to the stage, and somebody gets their foot trodden on, and it's like, oh, then you know, human nature, especially after a few drinks. But we stop. We go, all right, we do not carry on. When there's a punch up going on, we'll stop and until it sorts itself out, because we're not just going to ignore that. Someone get hurt.
No, exactly. And there's, you know, people go to a concert to have fun, not to, you know, obviously not to get hurt or, you know, injured or stuff like that.
Yeah, no, that not on our watch. We don't think that. Some bands think that's cool, you know, the big mosh pit and everybody like smacking into each other. But that's not really us.
No, exactly. You care about the people going to the show and the crowd and everybody's safety as well, because you want everyone to have a good time. Yeah,
I mean, we've got an older crowd now. Let's face it. You know, they're not as sprightly as they used to be. So yeah, I keep an eye out for them. Make sure they're all taken care of.
Oh, exactly. You're doing your part to obviously entertain them, but also make sure they're safe as well.
Indeed.
So, and there's a few things I did want to cover, because I've heard LA Guns is working on a new coffee blend, or a few different coffee blends. Can you give any hints about that?
Well, yes, we got our own plantation down in Colombia. It nothing huge, just 1,000 acres, horses, and we've come up with this ingenious idea of blending cocaine with coffee, and so far we haven't gotten in any trouble, but we expect we will further down the line. So this is this LA Guns coffee that is so good that it actually makes your lips numb. It's true.
Wow. Well, I'm gonna have to get some and try that out. I gotta see if it's legit. But
kidding. It's, I don't know. I mean, we got a merch guy who is clearly very creative, and a lot of bands have their wine. I believe Def Leppard have a red wine. Iron Maiden have beer. It's just LA Guns. We got our cocked and loaded coffee, but no, it doesn't have coke. I was just joking.
I figured you were, but it's always good to put a disclaimer on that. You never know, someone might take that out of context.
Yeah, 1,000 acres, horses. I've been practicing.
That was, I was not expecting. You had me for a little bit. I was like, is this real? This is not. But you know, that is true though. A lot of bands have been focusing on, I've saw a lot of different like whiskey, beer, alcohol stuff, but for you guys going with the coffee, I think that's cool, and it's like, it's for, you know, everyone can enjoy coffee.
Yeah, that's right, that's true.
So I'm very glad. I've seen some of the, obviously you guys have posted a little bit about it, so I'm gonna have to try it out. I gotta see if my lips tingle. We'll see if that's a thing. But one thing I did want to ask you, because I'm curious about for you, and you know, I know LA Guns, I got a lot of respect for them. You guys have been releasing a lot of great music with Checkered Past, and now coming up with Black Diamonds. So I know there's some bands who kind of, you know, they, after a while they'd stop releasing new music, and they kind of just focus more on just touring. So like, what are your kind of opinions and thoughts, like, in bands who, you know, the legacy bands who stop releasing new music?
Well, you know, I don't blame them. You know, I can completely relate to it, because, you know, we know when we do these records that they're not going to sell millions of copies. They're not going to sell, you know, a fraction of what we used to sell, cocked and loaded, you know, back in the day. But that never, I don't think we ever really did it for monetary gain. I just think we really enjoy cooking, you know, working on new material, making new music, and just, it makes you feel good. Just to create something and to get a positive reaction from something new and fresh. That you know, that certain things money can't buy. But I completely understand why bands don't want to do it. It's a lot of work. It can be expensive. In our case, I mean, it didn't cost much. Our records don't nowadays, because as I said, you know, it's a laptop and an interface. Back in the old days, we had studios going, 4 studios at once, all like $300 an hour. We spent more on our catering budget than we have spent recording the last 4 post-reunion records. Give you an idea of the vast difference of recording. And it's the digital recordings has come so far. It's so sophisticated now. You don't, I mean, it's pretty much made old school expensive $300 an hour studios somewhat redundant. And so if a band's embarking on a new record and they've got this idea that they've got to go in and spend thousands and thousands of dollars, I can understand, because you're not going to get that back. You know, that's the you know, the reality is, you know, there's no back end on this. There's no it'll take like a century before we ever see anything substantial from streaming. And it's a shame, you know, we deserve better than that, but we just keep going. I mean, it's just in here. I guess it's Tracy. It comes down to Tracy, really. If he's really prolific. He's always sitting there noodling, playing his guitar, working out riffs, figuring out stuff. And now he just, you know, keeps his phone handy. He's got GarageBand, got an idea, knocks it down real quick, and before you know it, he's got an album's worth of material, and that just sort of sparks the rest of us. It's like, all right, okay, and it's always good stuff, and we want to, you know, like be. It's a challenge for me to be surrounded by such incredibly gifted musicians. Yeah, I'm just a singer. You know, and that's great. And you know, every band needs one. But these guys, you know, when some of the stuff they do technically, it just blows my mind.
Oh no, definitely. I was very much enjoyed Checkered Past, and now like hearing some of the stuff off Black Diamonds, I'm equally excited for the new album as well. But you guys keep putting out really great music, and you guys like still have that edge and that just that attitude to you guys as well.
And we're good live. We're a good live band too. You know, I think we don't use tapes. There's nothing fake about our show. We keep it live and keep it real, and we're really enjoying ourselves, actually, to be honest with you. It's a good time to be in the band. We've had a bit of a break, and now the record's dropping and we're going out and doing shows. I'm excited.
I'm glad. I'm very excited for you guys as well. So as I'm wrapping up this interview, so what's kind of the rest of the plans for 2023 for LA Guns?
Well, would you believe another record? It won't be complete this year, but it will be written. I've no doubt about that. I think we're like 2 or 3 or into it already. So yeah, it won't take long. yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Want to see how that develops, and a whole bunch of live stuff. Band's all getting on great. Tracy's happy as a clam right now. He's dating her Aunt Thee and loves Endless Dream. Yeah, this great record is ready to drop, and the songs that we have already released, like Diamonds, the comments, it's you know, it's like that dopamine, you know. Every time I open it up and I start looking, it's like, oh wow, that's cool. It's as I said, money can't buy that.
Oh no, exactly, for sure. You guys got a lot of great stuff in the works, plus a really great album releasing this year as well. But Phil, thank you so much for stopping by Super Cool Radio. It's an honor to have you on the show.
That was fun. That went quickly. I enjoyed talking to you, and I appreciate the support. And keep rocking.
Oh, definitely, I will, and so do you as well. But for Phil Lewis of LA Guns, I'm your host as always, Matthew Thomas. Thank you so much for watching and listening to Super Cool Radio. And remember, stay frosty.
That's right. Turn it up. See ya.